Hello, welcome to Quail's Knitting Nest. My name is Joy.
And I'm Janet.
Welcome to another hot day.
It's in the 80s. It's May 22nd today. We're filming.
And it's supposed to be in the mid to upper 80s and quite humid, I think.
Yes.
It's going to be muggy later.
So obviously, I'm not wearing a sweater. I will hold one up later. But Joy is wearing her new sweater.
Yeah, I finished, except for the buttons, I finished my Felix sweater. This is by Amy Christoffers. It has these lace eyelets along the raglan shaping.
The yarn over, is it?
Yep.
Did you block that already?
Yep.
Looks it. It's nice.
Yep. And it's kind of stripy. Let me see if I can show the back.
It looks stripy on the back, yeah.
I used Distelfink farm raised fingering in these two colors, which I called blue purple and red purple so that I could tell them apart. And they're actually lavender. This one is lavender and this one's prairie thistle. Lavender and prairie thistle. And then I used a third yarn, which was Feederbrook Entropy Sport in the color French Kiss. And I ended up cutting out the dark purple section, and at the end of the skein was a very, very light purple section. Almost, well, no, it's not white, but it's very light. So this is all I have left of the Feederbrook, and this is all I have left of the Distelfink.
Wow.
So I just made it. I do have buttons, which I bought a couple years ago in Makunji, that I'm going to put on. Which I like.
They're little.
Well, my buttonholes are little.
Did you do the yarn over knit two together? They recommend it?
No.
What did you do?
I did the standard one row buttonhole.
Okay. Where you go back and forth, you turn.
Yeah.
Cast on.
So you bind off 2 stitches, cast on 3, bind off 1. Anyway, I do I've decided to do the one row buttonhole because although I've done the Patty Lyons buttonhole for several sweaters now, I've decided I don't like it because it essentially takes up 3 rows and it gives you a very elongated hole and you end up needing a larger button. And on my linen cardigan that I just made, the buttonholes are gigantic.
Oh.
And I mean, they work, and I have nice big buttons to put them in, but I'm not happy with it. So I went back to the standard one row buttonhole, which I like because it's very firm and it doesn't spread out, you know, after you put your button through it a couple of times. Now I have to say I made a huge mistake on this sweater. And the only thing that might give it away is the short rows in my button band.
Why did you do short rows?
So the reason I did short rows in the button band, I was working my sleeves and I'm decreasing along, and I got to I planned out, so I had to redo the numbers because my gauge was different. And I'm doing my decreases and I got down to my required number of stitches at the elbow instead of at the wrist.
Oh.
And I'm like, this is weird. What is going on? So I figured I just miscalculated my decreases. And I tried it on and it still fit here. So I just left it and I did the other sleeve and left it and it fits fine. I think the sleeve is a little bit narrow, but it fits and it's okay. And then I went back and I was reading the pattern and I realized why my sleeve decreases ended too soon. Because I didn't have enough stitches in my sleeve. Because I cast on too few stitches under the armpit. So I had done the entire body and all my sleeves, and I realized that in the body there were not enough stitches.
Oh my goodness.
I was 4 inches.
Oh my goodness.
2 inches on each side, too small.
Oh my gosh.
So I decided to add a little bit of width in the ribbing here
Yeah.
to help compensate.
That's probably why I think it looks so good without the buttons. Yes.
And when I did the bottom ribbing here,
That's shorter, isn't it?
I don't even know what the pattern called for. I just
Yeah,
did
it's
whatever I
shorter.
wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did the.
I think it was 2 inches or 2.5, something
I
like
think
that.
she said
I don't
12
have my
rows,
pattern
didn't
here.
she?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, it's 12 rows. And I did the 12 rows, but because I'm in
You
worsted
have a
weight,
little smaller gauge.
Yeah. it came out shorter. But when I did this, I increased 5% stitches to give me more stitches in the ribbing.
Mm-hmm.
And I also did, she asked for knit 1 purl 1, so I did that, which doesn't
and you did knit 2 purl 2 here.
And I did knit 2 purl 2 everywhere else because I prefer that. And then I aggressively blocked it. You know, you're not supposed to block your ribbing, but I did that. I aggressively blocked my ribbing so it would be wide enough to fit around my butt.
Well, it worked out. It looks fine.
Yeah, I think it looks fine. I think it worked. It looks fine.
Oh my gosh, Joy. It looks very nice. You don't have to tell anybody any of that.
No,
really.
that's right. I don't. But I figure
Because you can't tell.
somebody might be curious, you know, how I weaseled my way out of this unfortunate situation. Because I was striping, I was cutting the yarns after every stripe.
Right,
so it's not like I could rip it back out
Right.
and then redo it.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
Plus I had finished almost the entire sweater before I figured out what I did wrong.
Oh, because I know when you were saying that when I was showing my sweater, my decreases ended almost like right here.
Yeah, at the cuff.
By the cuff.
Right. And that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
That's what I was hoping for.
Well, anyway. Are you, oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm done, yeah.
Okay. Well, I made my Felix that I showed last time. Mine is, of course, it's supposed to be Aaron, and that's what mine is, Aaron. And I'm very, very happy with the way it came out.
Yeah.
It's going to be like a jacket. I followed the pattern exactly. I have 1 by 1 rib here, 1 by 1 here, and 1 by 1 on the bottom. And I used Mission Falls superwash wool, 100% superwash wool, and a multicolor mohair. I think it's Monos. Did I say Monos?
I
can't remember now. I don't have my yarn balls with me. But anyway, it was Old Stash. It's all Old Stash. And it's surprising all the people who remember this Mission Falls yarn. This is too funny. I have to tell you this story. Before I say any more.
Yeah.
Went for lunch with one of my friends. We're showing each other our knitting. I have this sweater laying out on the table. I didn't tell you this story yet, Joy.
No.
The table next to us, there's 2 women. I didn't pay much attention because we're jabbering back and forth. And she stands up and comes over. She said, "Oh, I'm a knitter. Can I look at your sweater?" And Donna had a shawl. And she said, "Oh, how beautiful." And she shows us she had socks on. And we start talking. So then she went and sat down. So then we were looking at Ravelry patterns, and all of a sudden she comes over and she says, "I know you." And I looked at her and I said, "You know what? You look familiar too, but I can't place." And she said, "You're Janet, right?" I said, "Yes." And she said, "We worked in Unravel together." It was Jane. Do you remember Jane? Jane. She wasn't there long. Because she said something like, "What yarn did you use?" She said, and I was telling her. So when she came back, she said, "I remember that Mission Falls yarn." I just thought it was too funny. What is this Mission Falls yarn? It was so funny. And so Donna told her about our podcast, and that's why I said your name. And I said, you remember Joy? I said, she said, "Yes." So that's why you got this. Isn't that funny, this connection? Isn't that funny? We're sitting in Panera Bread. That's where we were. Where you could sit for hours and talk.
Well, everyone really liked the Mission Falls yarn.
Yeah, it's so funny, though.
It was a popular yarn. I'm surprised it got discontinued.
I wonder what happened to it. But anyway, okay, so this is my Felix sweater, which I love. And, oh my goodness, I went into my stash of everything in my yarn room and found, I think, the perfect buttons. I just love them. They pick up every color in the mohair, and I'm just so excited with them. I think that this is a 52, I think, 50 or 52. It is big, but it's like a jacket. It's heavy, it's like a jacket.
And you can wear it
I'll
over.
be wearing, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'll be wearing like a navy cotton sweater, thin cotton sweater underneath it for Rhinebeck. So it's done, and I just love it. I didn't show the back or anything, but
I guess it just shows that you gravitate to similar colors, right? Because you managed to find buttons that were...
Yeah. These are clay buttons that I bought at a button stand in Rhinebeck years ago. I remember, because I have other buttons from this person too, and I just love them. Yeah, I just thought this multi when I bought it would match something. Perfect. So there's the Felix is done. I'm still working. Well, I didn't work too much on my pressed flowers cardigan because I was really anxious to get this done. I felt like I was on a deadline when I saw 80-degree weather coming and so forth. I couldn't knit on this. If it was 80, even though we have air conditioning, it's just too hot.
Yeah. I have my next hexagon from the Persian Dreams blanket by Jenise Hope. This time I started a new colorway with a new pattern. This is the new one.
That's very different from the others.
Very different. And this is the first time I've had an issue with the center
poking
up. It didn't block flat this time for me. So I don't know what happened there, if I was knitting more loosely this time, or I don't know. But I think once it's in the blanket, I think it'll be hardly noticeable, or maybe it will pull itself out, as it gets stretched.
Beautiful.
Now I went into the Kauni stash. I'm using Kauni Effektgarn here, and I was gonna start with this colorway, but when I was looking into the colorway, it's orange and gray and white, or like an ivory, and there's not really any darker colors in there, so I thought it wouldn't be enough of a contrast. So I took out this colorway. I apologize, I don't have the colorways with me here. But, so I pulled out this colorway to go with it. And it started with the dark brown in here, and now I'm moving into this like dark burnt orange color. So I think they will pair well. The oranges and the off-whites, the grays. So
I
the
love
next
this one was my favorite.
The next hexagon is going to look very different than this one, because it's not going to have any of the dark brown in it.
But they all blend together.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And this is number
5.
Okay.
5 down, 19 to go.
Very nice. So you're doing one a month, basically, right? That's what you're doing.
Between projects.
Yeah.
I try to do one between projects, yeah. And what do you have?
I have a finished pair of socks, which I showed last time, so I'll just show the pair once again. I love it.
With that
it's an
twisted
unknown
rib.
yarn.
Yeah.
But I just love the twisted rib. Just the basic stockinette sock. Joy's pattern once again. And I like them because they're nice and thin. They really blocked nicely.
Yeah.
Really blocked.
Yeah.
Nicely.
And I like that striping thing you have going on there.
I do too. Okay, this is the story.
This is the elephant in the room.
This is the story. Over a year ago, I went and I bought at Michael's, on the rare times. I went in there. And I know people pronounce it Bernat. I used to say Bernat, but I think it's Bernat. Baby blanket yarn. Yarnspirations. And very thick, bulky, like a velour type yarn. Okay, about 10 of these. They're polyester. And I wanted to make a blanket for my niece's children. She has 3 children. I started this. I made my own pattern up. It's just a checkerboard, knit 10, purl 10, alternating every 10 rows with the little garter border. That's all I did. On size 15 needle. So I started it. I don't even remember how many stitches I cast on. I measured it. I wanted it to be almost bed size because they like to let, this would be for their couch probably in the TV room, because they all like to lay under a blanket all the time. My niece always did that too, and my nephew. So I started knitting it. Well, I got probably 12 inches into it, the length, and realized that my hands were killing me from using size 15 needles and this chunky yarn. So then I decided, I let it go for a few months, and then I decided, well, I'm just going to do a couple rows a day just to work on it. That still didn't help. My hands still was hurting. So I threw it in a trash bag, clean trash bag, with all the balls of yarn and this. And I asked several friends if they wanted it. I was just giving it away. That was fine. Finally, one of my friends said, yeah, I'll take that. So I said, good. I had no idea she was going to make it for me, which she did, even though she wasn't feeling well. She worked on it a little bit every day, and she finished we can't even show you the whole thing. It's it's queen size, falls over the edges of the bed, the foot of the bed. It's huge. It's probably almost a king size. I didn't try it on the king size bed, but it's huge. And this is what it looks like. And she did this, I don't even know, it wasn't much more than a month. Maybe 2 months.
Wow.
But I was so shocked because I didn't know she was doing it. And she told me, one day she said, you have to come and pick up your blanket. I said, what blanket? She said, I knitted your blanket for you. I said, no, I didn't want you to do that. I wanted you to keep it if you wanted it or give it to somebody. I said, I just couldn't throw this yarn away. I love the colors and it's so comfy, isn't it? Doesn't it feel good? So I'll be shipping this to my niece in North Carolina.
That's gonna be a big box.
We got a box. We had an Amazon delivery, and Jim said, what do you think of the size of this box? I said, yeah, I think that'll be just right. So we'll be shipping this to North Carolina because we're not going there anytime soon.
Oh my goodness.
But I just love it. I couldn't believe she did that.
Wow.
So it is beautiful. It's really beautiful, but just be wary of knitting with this yarn. It's really tough. And I think, you know how people always say, you know, wool is easy. It doesn't bother your hand. That's true. Because when you knit with cotton and linen, because I'll show you a scarf I'm going to make, it's tough to work with. It really is tough. And this was tough to work with. I don't know how she did it.
I actually was feeling the same way because I had just finished that linen cardigan last month or the month before. And then when I started working on this, it was so much nicer to be back to using the wool.
Yep.
I was like, oh.
Knitting this Felix sweater was wonderful. I enjoyed it because of the wool. That is really nice yarn. Anyway, yes. So that's the story of that.
Ah. Well, I have one acquisition to show you. Well, actually two, but
okay.
I bought some yarn from Painted Spring Farm Alpacas.
Oh.
And this is their homegrown DK.
Wow, look at that color.
In one of their assigned pooling colorways.
Oh, assigned pooling. Oh.
So it's mostly purple and a little bit of pink, and then it has this piece of like light pink. It has a little strand of light pink in it. I'll put a picture up of it in the skein so that you can see where the color pooling is, because once you wind it up, it just looks pretty random in the skein. But I bought this because I'm going to be teaching a class on assigned pooling at Knit or Stay Out in the fall.
Right.
So I'm going to teach this crisscross stitch that I did in this hat, which was also made with this same yarn, the Painted Spring Alpacas. And this was another assigned pooling colorway that she had. And then I'm going to also teach this dip stitch that I did in this scarf that I told you about. And then I have I have a bunch, maybe 8 altogether, of different stitches to teach the class and practice with on their own assigned pooling yarns and see. It's interesting swatching, because I did a bunch of swatches with this, and some of them just depending on the yarn that you have, some of the stitches look great and some of them you're like, oh, that looks like a mess. So it definitely behooves you to swatch with the yarn to see if what you're going to do is going to work out or not. And that's what happened to me with this one, because I was intending to do a different stitch and didn't like the way it was turning out. So that's how I ended up with this dip stitch.
I love this dip stitch. I think that looks really great. This yarn is nice. That's not your, I was going to say that color.
No.
That's not your color.
No, she has a limited selection in her assigned pooling colors way. So
what do you
I had to choose.
What do you think? A hat?
I don't know.
Maybe
I mean,
just
to start, I'm going to make a swatch for the class. But after that, I don't know what I'm going to make with it, actually. Maybe another hat. Because this used up almost the, actually it did use up the entire skein. I was starting to run out and I had to accelerate my decreases at the top because I was running out of yarn. So this took one whole skein.
So that's 200 yards. That pink one is 200 yards. DK weight, 80 alpaca, 20 wool.
So that's one of my acquisitions. The other one is not yarn related, but I wanted to show it to you. My daughter is a poet and she's been submitting to various poetry journals for years and finally decided that she was going to start her own poetry journal. So this is issue 1. It's called Bleating Thing, issue 1. And their sort of mascot is this double-headed lamb.
Oh, yes. Oh.
Yeah, it's cute but bizarre at the same time.
Yeah.
And this is actually their logo here on the back, the double-headed lamb. So she got together some friends of hers. She has 3 other people working on it. She has a poetry editor, an essay editor, and what they call a hybrid editor. I didn't even know what a hybrid was, but apparently a hybrid is like poetry on pictures. So it's a hybrid of
let's see.
Poetry with visual art.
I never heard of it either.
So it's a collection of poems, essays, and then this visual art. And this is her first issue as editor-in-chief.
Wow.
All the contributors are on the back.
Exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. We'll see. She's selling it at cost. She's not making any money on it.
Oh.
She's just providing it as an outlet for people like her that need a place to publish their work.
And how do you buy it?
I will put a link in the show notes. You can go right to the website. You can view it online for free. And then if you want a hard copy, the purchase price is her cost. So she's not making any money on it.
Very nice.
So if you're into poetry, visual things, check it out.
So I decided to make a light summer, well, not really a light, but a summer scarf, non-wool. Let me just say this, non-wool. So I found this pattern, an Italian summer scarf by an Italian knitter. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, and she also has different sizes of this, larger, smaller. I love the pattern. I think it's really pretty. So I went in my stash and I found this yarn that I bought up at Knitter's Edge last year, maybe 2 years ago. It's Plymouth Yarn. It's Vivara, made in Italy, 81% rayon, 19% linen. Let me show you the label.
So you're using an Italian yarn for your Italian
Exactly. I thought that
pattern written by an Italian.
I know. I started laughing when I looked at the label and then I looked at my pattern. And I said, "Oh wow, isn't that appropriate?" But anyway, I really like this. I like the way it feels too. This is the way it's turning out. Let's see. There's just some eyelets. It's garter and eyelets. I don't know if you could see. I guess you could see it. It's a nice texture. It's not really heavy. I'm double stranding because it did, according to the yarn ball, I should be able to use single strand, but No, it didn't look good. It was just too lacy.
Oh.
You couldn't really see anything. And the yarn is a little bit odd.
Oh, yeah.
See, it's kind of thick and thin.
Mm-hmm.
So it does give texture. But it's drapey. It's a nice yarn.
Very drapey, yeah.
I had bought this. I just love this color. I don't even know if it has a color. No, it doesn't have a color on this. It was in the sale section, I remember. Oh, color 07. Big deal. So,
What would you call
I
it?
wanted to wear a top.
Camel?
It's more like a
Camel?
It's a little bit shiny too.
Yeah,
because
has
of the
a sheen.
rayon. I just love it. It's like light copper or something. I don't know. So I thought it would make a nice dressy top, but I started a top and I really didn't like it single stranded, and I didn't want to make a top double stranded because it was a little bit too heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah,
thought
then
this
you
would
wouldn't be able to wear it.
We're traveling. We're going to California a couple weeks, and I thought this might be a good one to take along because I think it's going to be a little chilly at night, and we're going to be outdoors every night at concerts. So
Nice.
going to the Napa Valley Jazz Festival with Brian Culbertson.
Fun.
My favorite musician. So
Fun.
I just thought that would be good. Probably would work on the plane too. I just couldn't stand to put wool on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's that.
And I have one work in progress, which is a sock, or pair of socks, I guess. This pair is for Jim. Have I shown these yet? I can't remember.
Yes, you did.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I have one done. Blue with the yellow toe.
It's so funny because it looks so long compared to the socks that we show. That's so much knitting. Oh my gosh.
I know.
I'm glad he appreciates them.
He has his big feet. He wears a US size 12 shoe. So this
That's not
is,
that bad.
so I'm getting there, up, partially up the cuff here.
That's pretty.
So I have about 4 more inches to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm using this jeans ball by Schoppel.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty.
So that's all that I'm working on at the moment. I'm between projects since this is fresh off the blocking mat, so I haven't started anything else yet.
Oh, I just want to show what we're drinking, huh?
Yeah.
My special little cups I pulled out today that I hardly ever use.
Jumpers.
They're from my cousin Jenise when she ordered them. I don't know if she was in London when she bought these, but they're from England, and they say woolly jumpers on them. I think they're
really cute, yeah.
Yeah, they say, yeah, they have exclusive design, from Roy Kirkham in England, fine bone china. So I have a set of these. I don't keep them out, so I brought them out special for we're drinking our pineapple hint water in this. No tea or coffee today, it's too hot.
Yeah, it's too hot.
So.
Well, I realized that last episode we forgot to ask a question.
Oh, yes.
I was just thinking, because last time we were talking about summer sweaters, and we did have one commenter who said, oh, I'm going to try and make this tee, whatever. So anyone else, we would like to hear what you are working on this summer. Do you have a summer sweater or top, tee, whatever, on the needles, or a nice lightweight scarf? Let us know what you're knitting for summer. We would like to hear that.
I don't think I thought I'd be able to get to a summer tee, but I don't think I'm going to. Because I have to finish my pressed flowers cardigan.
Oh.
And by the time I start the tee, it'll probably be whatever. Are you going to make anything?
No, I'm not going to make a
You're
summer
not making
tee.
sweater?
No.
Okay, I don't know. I'd still like to. I do have yarn.
But they would knit. It would knit up fast.
Yes, it would.
You could have it done for August anyway.
Yes, I guess I could.
It just depends what you feel like working on.
There is something I'm going to make, though.
Huh? What's that? Oh, you are?
We talked about this in our knitting group. The emotional support chicken. I'm sure everybody has heard about this. There's one picture. Oh, there's better pictures back here, though. Yeah, there's some better pictures. I'm sure everybody has heard about this by now. It's one of the hottest patterns, I think, on Ravelry.
Crazy.
I just think it's the cutest thing. And I don't make stuffed animals or anything. There's something about this. And I need to keep it for myself.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to give it.
You tuck it under your arm making?
Because if I make one for one of my great nephews,
You'll
or
have to make
niece,
two.
I have to make 3.
Oh, 3, yeah.
And I don't know if I'd want to make 3 of these. This is quite involved. It's all short rows.
Okay.
Look at this pattern. It's like 6 pages long. And I heard somebody on one of the podcasts I was watching was talking about it. And it is like you're knitting all different shapes. So I'll show you. I'm not showing you the whole pattern, but the pieces. And then you have to sew it all together, which isn't too fun, I don't think. But, so it's the Emotional Support Chicken by the Knitting Tree, L period A period. So I'm not sure what that is. But it says, life is hard. We all need a chicken to help make it better. I just think it's cute. My emotional support chicken.
Well, it has definitely taken the knitting world by storm.
Yes.
No question about that.
And I'm going to use it calls for worsted. So I have a lot of Encore weight, Encore yarn, worsted weight. So, and some of them are Tweety. I might make a Tweety one.
Tweety bird.
And it's a small project. I thought it'd be good for the summer.
Yeah.
That's why I don't know if I'll be making a sweater because
You might make
get
a
into
chicken
this.
instead.
I have to finish my scarf, finish my pressed flowers, and of course socks. I have another pair of socks started, just barely, and the emotional support chicken.
Very good.
And what are your plans? You're continuing with your Afghan square.
Yes,
You're
I'm going to
finishing
make
those
another
socks.
Afghan square, and I think I'm going to start on my Christmas ornaments.
Your Christmas ornaments, and you have to do your class stuff too.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
although that can wait till August
Oh, okay.
because I have everything
You submitted
else.
all your.
Mm,
Do you know that we're talking about Knitter's Day Out, by the way, in Somerdale, I think it is Somerdale, Pennsylvania, which is near Harrisburg. Do you know? Have you heard anything about when registration's coming out? Probably
I don't
won't
know.
be till late. Huh?
I don't know. All the information has to be submitted by June 1st, so I imagine it would maybe
Probably
take
August.
them.
That's about the only event we have coming up. I don't know. Is there a New Jersey in September? Is the New Jersey Sheep and Fiber or whatever it's
Yeah. New Jersey, first
Jersey in September.
Saturday of September.
First Saturday? Okay, I guess that's about it.
We are done.
Stay cool, everybody.
Yep.
Knit your little summer things. Let us know what you're doing. And we'll see you in June.
Bye-bye.
Bye.